Wow, what's this? Disco in Illustrator? No, of course not. Those are smart guides. Hello and welcome to the Vector Garden YouTube channel. Let's talk about smart guides. Of course you have seen them. And if you don't want to see them, then you can turn them off in View. And there we have the smart guides. The shortcut is U. It's like a little magnet. So that's how you can remind that. And you use that to turn them on and off. And they can also be turned off by accident, because when you have Snap to Grid turned on, then smart guides just don't work. Okay, so what do smart guides do? I'm going to select all in here and let's start new. So let's go through them one by one, because they have options and they can be turned on one by one. So let's go to the Illustrator preferences, and there we have the smart guides. And you see, these are all the options for the smart guides. You can determine the color they are showing in, and there are also glyph guides for aligning text and single letters, and they have a different color. And then there are different kinds that can be shown in smart guides. So let's first take a look at these two, the anchor path and labels and the measurement labels. So they are turned on by default, and also these other things, they are turned off by default. But actually they are pretty interesting. So I'm going out of here and let's draw a shape and let's apply a color to this. And you've already seen it. When I draw something, then there are labels. So there are the measurements, and then there is the word shown in there. The measurements, of course, are the measurement labels. They might or might not be precise, so you better check afterwards anyway, and maybe you can turn them off, because that's the one thing you might not really need. The other labels are also shown when you move over a path, an object, and there you see the highlights. And you might be able to find paths and anchor points without using smart guides, because it's obvious, and also the cursor shows it. You see the change in the cursor symbol, and then there is this path. But there are some things that only smart guides show. Let's presume we have these two lines here, and let's apply some color to them, like so. And when I move over here, then this is something that is not shown by default. So let's go over here, and you see when you have a creation tool active, like the rectangle tool or the pen tool, then there is an intersect shown. So where these two lines cross without the need to be an anchor point in that position, you see there is an intersection. So that's what the labels show. And let's move this to the side and go into the preferences again. I'm using the shortcut, which is K. So Command K or Control K on Windows. And let's go to the smart guides again. So we have checked these off, and we can turn these off. So let's go to the spacing guides. Or yeah, let's go to the spacing guides. So we have these objects, and let's make a third one, like so. And these have a specific distance, and then I'm moving this, and you see there are the spacing guides. And also when I move this here, then we get different spacing guides for the next object. So that's what the spacing guides do. And they can help you to arrange multiple objects on a page. And also when you rotate this and then you rotate this one, you see the angle is also highlighted by smart guides. So let's go in here again smart guides, the spacing guides, we can turn these off. We've seen them. So let's see the alignment guides. And let's take a look at this, and let's turn this off. So you see there are lines, and when I'm moving this exactly horizontally, then you see there's an alignment guide. So it tells me that I'm moving it horizontally. And also when I make a copy of this by just alt dragging it and move this, then you see an alignment guide as well. It helps me to align those objects. And it also works when you align to the edge of the artboard, and then it shows that as well, and the center of the artboard and whatnot. So let's go in here and let's turn this off. And also the object highlighting. So like here, that is the object highlighting. And then let's get into these interesting things, the transform tools and the construction guides. But let's first go just to the transform tools. Transform tools are rotate, reflect, and also scale and shear, and also move, which is with the selection tool. So when you're moving something or when you are rotating it, then you get the help of those transform guides. And you see, without the need to press the shift key for certain rotations, then you get help by the smart guides. And let's take the scale tool, and you see when I scale like this, I get some help because the width is the same now, but now it also tells me I have a proportional scaling. And these tools somewhat interfere with pressing the shift key. So sometimes you get some weird behavior of Illustrator when you use the shift key together with smart guides, and that's caused by this. It's kind of a pity, but that's the way it works right now at the moment. There's one important thing to note with the selection tool though, and with moving. In order to get the transform tool smart guides working when moving objects with a selection tool, what you have to do is press Command or Control on Windows, and you see now you have the lines. When you don't press, you don't have the lines. So let's go in here again, because there's another thing, the construction guides together with the transform tools. And let's assume we have rotated this. Now this is now a smart shape, a live shape. So let's go to Window, Transform, and you see the rotation is part of its attributes. So I could just reset that to 0. And I want to show how to use smart guides to rotate something back. So let's do something else and go to Object, Shape, and expand the shape. So still it keeps its rotation angle up here. So let's do the next thing and reset the bounding box. So now the rotation I have applied to this is now gone. And let's do yet again something else and do it like this and group those. So I want to rotate these in a way that this line down here is horizontally. So let's take the rotation tool and let's click the center here, and you see the highlight of that point. And then I'm going to take this point, and now what I can do is move over here to catch that. And now the smart guides show me that here I've reached the horizontal position, like so. And that's what these do. Now all the others are now of course rotated, but this is horizontally aligned. So let's draw a shape here, and you see I can draw this here and they meet exactly. Let's zoom in and go into outline view like so. This is a horizontal line and I have aligned it using the smart guides. Let's go into the preferences again, and you see the construction guides. You can set up the angles. So this is the default, but you can also set it to something else and use 30-degree angles for isometric drawings or whatever you have to do. So that was the introduction to smart guides, so you can use them to your delight. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.